One of the most popular questions I get from beginning sewers is how do you keep your lines straight? The trick is in these grooves located right on your machine. To the right of your needle and presser foot, you'll likely see fractions and whole numbers. These are guides to help you sew the correct measurement for your seam allowance. If you're not familiar with seam allowance is that extra fabric between the raw edge of your fabric and the stitch line. Give yourself that extra fabric because fabric will usually fray if you sew too close to the edge. If you've ever looked at a sewing pattern, most of those patterns that you get from the store have a built-in seam allowance of 5/8 of an inch. If you look at the grooves on your machine, you'll usually see one for 5/8 of an inch. Because I went to fashion school, our seam allowance was always 1/2 inch, so there's also 1/2 inch on the machine. Now that you know what the grooves are for, here's how you sew straight lines using them. Line up the raw edge of your fabric to the corresponding seam allowance guide. As long as you keep the raw edge on that guideline, you're more likely to sew a straight line. It's all hand-eye coordination, and the more you practice, the easier it gets. Using your left hand, you're going to help walk the fabric as it goes through the machine. Eyes will constantly dart back and forth at the guideline and the fabric, to make sure that it's on track. The fingers on your right hand will also help keep the fabric steady as it goes under the presser foot. There's really no secret other than practice, practice, practice. If you like these videos, let me know and I'll make more.